Hi, this is Erin again, and I am the owner of ECKOArt, Echo Certified Sound Healing, Transcendent Lux Lucis, Psychic and Paranormal Coaching, and Infinitus Lux Lucis. If you'd like to know more about those, there are links on my YouTube channel page. So, this is more of a personal project that I'm doing. It does tie in with all of the other work that I'm doing because it has to do with who I am and where I come from on both the physical and the metaphysical, spiritual levels. So, I've had a lot of experiences in the past with Asian beings. That's the best I got as far as trying to describe it. And I mean, I could describe them more thoroughly than that, but I mean, just Asian in appearance. Or Asian-like in appearance, because some of them clearly weren't regular humans. They were otherworldly beings. And anyway, I couldn't understand for a long time why I had, interactions with Asian beings. It didn't bother me. I was totally fine with it, but it just thought, why are they talking to this white girl? Anyways, I mean, I have a lot of different beings that I interact with that aren't white, but it just really stood out to me as, wow, that's different for me in this lifetime. I know I've had other experiences and other times and places as things that I'm not now. So I wanted to, because I've come across this area of my family tree more than once. This lineage is in my ancestry more than one time, down more than one branch. So rather than go through, because I have another branch open that I'm doing some work on tonight, I had done some research because I did some videos about this branch that leads to here, and I haven't posted it yet because I wanted to know more about the people that I found here, because I don't know anything about these cultures in the kind of way that would help me to explain that in this lifetime here on a video. So yesterday I spent some time digging into who these people are, and I've uncovered what I suspected. We were looking at emperors and so forth, but I didn't know. And I only suspected it because, to be honest with you, that is almost all I'm finding. I have some areas where it's not like that, but most of my family tree seems to be extensive lines of kings and queens, emperors, high priests, you name it, in whatever culture, pharaohs, whatever culture I'm looking at, it seems to be just often it's extensive lines of royals. And it go on for generations and generations and generations, all the way back to whoever they originate from. So in this, I have found that I have both Hun and Chinese ancestry, which I had no idea I had. But because I didn't know about it, I've looked into it. So I have a little bit better idea what I'm looking at now. And I'm going to share that in this video. So, and I will post another video that shows it from the beginning. Well, I will post another video that will show it coming from present time all the way back to these people so that you can see the direct lineage, because that's normally what I do. I'm not doing that for this video because A, that takes more time in the video, and B, I'm pretty sure I have it in another video, and if I don't, I'll just make one. But I have it more than once, and so I've looked up, actually what I've done is I've looked up this guy right here and pulled that out of the tree. So that's why we're starting here. So here we have 15th and 19th. Oh, so a king of the Huns, and Zhaojun, I think is how you say it. It's Zhaojun, something like that. She is a very well-known historical figure in Chinese history, lore. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. If I say anything that seems offensive, I'm not trying to offend anybody. I just don't know that much about it. But I looked this up, and she is, Shen Yun is a big theatrical production that comes from China that tours around the world, I guess, and I had thought, oh, I'd like to see that. Well, they actually, when I was looking up Zhaojun, I hope I'm saying that right, I actually found that they have a show that has her in it. So she is a huge part of their historical lore or something. And is that she was in an aristocratic family in China, and she was in the palace hoping to hook up, I guess, with the emperor. And I believe that's going to be this guy, if I understand it correctly. And she refused to bribe a painter like most of the girls did, so the painter got mad and he made an ugly picture of her, or one that just didn't portray her in a favorable light. So when they gave the pictures to the emperor passed her over because he didn't find her attractive, though. So she lived at the palace where the emperor was, and she just, lived there and did her thing and whatever. But apparently she was like the most beautiful one in the, I don't know if she was really the most beautiful, but they say she's like the most beautiful woman in all of China. And somehow, like a Cinderella story, he didn't know that she was there, blah, blah, blah. So, this guy here, the king of the Huns, wanted to marry this guy's, one of his daughters, a princess of China. So instead, this guy, the emperor, arranges for her to marry him. And I believe, it seems like he pretended that she was his daughter to make peace between the Chinese and the Huns. So then, supposedly, according to the story, he sees her right before she leaves and he falls in love with her, but he said that he was going to marry her to him, let her get married to him to make peace, so he kept his word and sent her off, and they looked at each other longingly as she wandered off with this guy. She married him and made peace for 60 years between the Huns and the Chinese. That's the way I understand it. It's a lot. I'm trying to keep it straight. Not an area of history I knew anything about in this lifetime. So, I think that's why it seems that we've got her here. And I think that's, I don't know if it's the Han Dynasty. I'm going to say the Han Dynasty. If I'm saying it wrong, forgive me. So, the Han Dynasty made peace then with the Huns. And she lived in the wild lands in the north in the cold with the Huns in a tribal nomadic life, and did it really well, and everything was great. It was so great that she stayed there even after her husband died. So, we go back from there, and we've got these people. I had no idea there was such an, I didn't know there was that interesting story there, And I haven't looked into these two specifically just yet. I did look into him. So, he is an emperor, and 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 he is, I think, the first emperor of the Han Dynasty, if I understand it correctly. And I think it's possible that these are going to end up being something like the Tuatha De Danann or something like that. And the reason why I'm saying that is because even though it doesn't go back any further, I'm sure there's got to be somebody knows where they came from. I think they're going to say that they're mythological or something, because according to Shen Yun, the production on their website, the whole premise of the work that they do is that they are kind of recapturing, bringing forward a lost history of China before the dictatorships came into play. So it's supposed to be from like a magical time when the gods walked the earth and all of this stuff. So if it was from a magical time when the gods walked the earth and all of those sorts of things, then we're looking at similar to the Tuatha De Danann and the Norse gods and the Anunnaki Sumerian gods and all of those beings that we're told don't exist. So my guess is going to be that we're kind of going into that territory in the Chinese culture, maybe with these people. And that'll be an interesting area to explore, because if they're doing a production about Zhaojun, oh, I hope I'm saying that right. I feel silly even trying to say it. If they did a story about her, and that was during the period of time when the gods were also walking the earth, then I'm going to guess some of these people are probably going to be considered mythological beings. Which happens in every culture because, you know, people came from somewhere, but it's not the story that works with the narrative that we're told. So they try to separate people from their history, basically, and they don't want you to know where you came from. The bottom line is, if you could trace your history back to person to person to person to person to person in multiple cultures, to beings that say, oh, but this is their parents, but they weren't really real, they're just a mythological character, then there's something really wrong with that, because the bottom line is that people didn't just pop out of nowhere. They came from somewhere, and if that was their parents, then that was their parents. Now, was it their actual parents like normal people, or were they ancient aliens that came here and engineered humans? I mean, you can debate that all day long, but the bottom line is they're beings that exist. They're not a myth, they're not a story, they're not an idea, they're not a meditation, they're not a whatever these things are that people are telling people now. It's not that. They're real beings. They're real beings. And it's in almost every culture that I've found so far. It's going to be in all of them, obviously, because people came from somewhere. But the point being, these stories have been kind of stamped out of people's realities intentionally for a reason. And I feel like it's important to connect with those. So I never knew I'd be doing it, at least not in this lifetime, in this body, in my awareness as it is now. I did not know that I would be doing this. I may have before I came here, but so I did some looking these people up, so depending on what I find here, I may pull up that file because I have it here. Well, I'll just do that. So this first guy, I think that's, is going to be the Emperor Wu of Han. I'm going to guess that's from Wuhan, which we all know where we hear about that from, but this is his birth name, and usually there's a Google Translate here. Okay, yep. Emperor Wu of the Han Dynasty. I'm not going to try to say all those. I'm just not going to do it. Was the 7th emperor of the Han Dynasty. His mother was Queen... Sorry, not going to try to do it because I don't want... I don't have a clue how to say that. He was appointed as the crown prince when he was 7 years old. He ascended the throne and reigned for 54 years, making him the longest reigning Chinese emperor before Kangxi of the... I don't know how to say it. King Dynasty? I don't know. So, that is who he is, and if you'd like to pause it to read all of this, then you can do so. Okay. Now we'll do him. I'm not skipping the women because I feel they're unimportant. I've only had time to research the men, and usually there's not that much information on the women, but I will look. Okay, and so this guy is... Zhaojun? I don't know. I don't know how to say it. I think this one didn't have the Google Translate. Oh yeah, this one does. Okay. Emperor Jing. I don't know. Of Han. The 6th emperor of the Han Dynasty, and he reigned from July 14th, 157 BC to March 9th, 141 BC. reigned for 16 years, and he died at the age of 48. So, if you'd like to read about that, it's really fascinating to read about these people. I did do some reading about them last night. I haven't read it all real thoroughly, because I really just have a lot of material I'm working with right now, which is a good thing. And then there's one of these does not have the Google Translate paragraph, so but I did Google Translate on it so that I could know what I was looking at. Okay, so I can't read that. Okay, so that's Wu Jing. Emperor Wen of Han. Okay. So, Emperor Wen of the Han Dynasty, the fourth son of Emperor Zhaojun of the Han Dynasty, his mother Boji, and the younger brother of Emperor Hui. I don't know how to say it. I'm so sorry. I just don't know. Of the Han Dynasty, but I feel able to share the information. Anyway, the fifth emperor of the Western Han Dynasty reigned from November 14th, 180 BC to July 6th, 157 BC. He reigned for 23 years. He died at the age of 47. And hopefully this has popped up on here, because sometimes it doesn't work the way I think it's going to. If it does, you can pause it to read that. Okay, so we're going to put this back down. And this guy. King of Han. Officer of the police. Marquis de Wuhan. Prince de... I'm not even gonna... So, Emperor of China... Liu Bang. I don't know if that's how you say it or not. I wish I knew how to say it. I'm going to call it Liu Bang. The Emperor of the Han Dynasty from 256 BC to June 1st, 195 BC. And they have different names for them. Some are given to them when they reach adulthood. They get a name that's more fitting for them or something, is the way I understand it. And anyway, so you can read this. Okay. And then there is... Whoops. Oh, where are you going? Okay. It's a little bit hard to find information on this guy. In fact, I did find something saying that this guy may be mythological. There's a place on one website that does indicate that they think that there's a question as to whether or not he's an actual historical individual that existed. So I'm going to guess that he's in the area of those mythological beings known as the gods. Okay, so it doesn't have anything about him here, and I'm not sure. I may not have found... I can't remember. Oh yeah, there we go. this is what I found about him. Liu Taigong. I don't know if that's how you say it or not. Not much is recorded about him. Historically, he was born and likely lived his early life in Fengtown. Wait, would that be Feng? Like Feng Shui? I don't know if I'm saying that right either. Okay, so anyway, I don't know anything about it. Okay, so, likely lived his early life in Fengtown of Pei County in present-day, I'm going to say Feng, I think it's Feng County, Zhangzhou. I don't know. His personal name is not known. Some historical sources say his name is that, although this name is likely chosen after Liu Bang became emperor. He likely came from a humble rural background. I don't know what they have to call it, a humble rural background, because, you know, I mean, a lot of times if they don't know who somebody is, they probably just assume that. So I don't know. I mean, that might be true. There's no way for me to know that until I look it up and look into it. And I did find a pretty good website that looks like it's a really good resource for this. So I will probably do some deeper digging into this when I have a chance. He was captured by Chu troops during the Battle of Pengcheng. I'm just going to scroll through this so you can read it if you'd like to. Okay, so there's that. Again, I haven't found anything about them just yet, so we will work on that. Now we're going to go back here, and I'm going to zoom in real quick on them so you can see the images. Because for me to look at these and realize this is in my ancestry, and more than once, I might add, it's pretty fascinating. I had no idea. I mean, I can't get it any bigger, but that looks like it's carved in stone. So, then also let's just explore here for a moment, and does it say anything about the women? I have no idea what that means, but I guess it's gonna be like imperial side piece. No, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. I don't know what it means, but obviously that's, if it's not his wife, it's gonna be a concubine. Because apparently they had harems, I think. I'm thinking that's how it seemed when I was reading. Anyways, her name has not been verified. Second queen of the Emperor Wu of the Han Dynasty. See, second queen. Yeah, that's not very cool. You gotta be the second queen. What the heck? Anyway, that's what it says about her. And let's go. Let's try this one. It's not a lot, but you can Google it. A lot of times if you have the name though, you can find quite a lot of information. So King of the Huns, 11th King of the Huns. And again, if you don't know, the Huns were like a nomadic people, kind of like what you would find, I believe, like in the old days in Germany. There were tribal people that were nomadic all over the world. So that is what the Huns did. They were nomadic. Thirteenth King of the Huns. Defeated and killed in battle against the Chinese Han Dynasty. I don't know what that means. Let's see what it says about her here. Yeah, harem. See? Right there. She was in the Emperor's harem. Doesn't actually say the whole story about her. That's interesting. Well, you can find more info if you Google. I don't know, maybe I can help fill that in after I did all that reading about her. Okay. So I'm going to pause this for a minute. So I went to here, and we were on this branch, and I brought it down to here, and this is all the information that's available here. So if anybody